Good evening, good morning, whatever time of day or wherever you are, I'm glad you've joined me. Today I got a message from a mentor of mine, and it was called Transforming Pain. And it goes as follows. All healthy religion shows you what to do with your pain, with the absurd, the tragic, the nonsensical, the unjust, and the undeserved, all of which eventually come into every lifetime. If only we could see these wounds as the way through, as Jesus did, then they would become sacred wounds rather than scars to deny, disguise, or, even worse, project unto others. I'm sorry to admit that I first see my wounds as an obstacle more than a gift, because healing is indeed a long journey. And if we cannot find a way to make our wounds into sacred wounds, we invariably become cynical, negative, or bitter. And if that happens to us, we will never be successful as true, life-giving, joyful Christian entrepreneurs. And I'd like to talk about that just for a few minutes today. Could it be that suffering and pain are part of the deal? Part of the deal of being an entrepreneur, part of the deal of being a human being, and maybe being part of the deal of following Jesus. Let's see just what we might learn today about suffering and pain for you and for me. This is the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. I'm Stan Houston. Thanks for joining me. The program begins right now. Welcome back. Many of us celebrated, those of us who follow Jesus, when a fellow follower of Jesus, Pastor Andrew Brunson, was released from captivity in Turkey and made his way to the United States of America after 2 years of very deep and hurtful captivity, lots of pain and suffering. But now, because of many prayers and because of many people, it's oftentimes that way. It's prayers and people. That's how God works. He has been freed. And he was greeted by the President of the United States, whom he promptly thanked and then said a prayer for, and it was truly a moving prayer. And he has confessed that one of the things he has learned in that time was suffering. Real, deep, scared to death suffering. The pain, the deep pain of believing that where has God gone? Where is he now? Hey, you look up into heaven and you say, I'm one of your friends. What's going on there? What's going on here? Right here on planet Earth. Well, the reason I'm just simply asking you to do that is because that's one of the themes that has struck me for this week that perhaps we should carry on. My mentor, Pastor Richard Rohr, who I've never met, but of course thanks to the wonder of this medium, it has a lot of bad things. But every day, Pastor Rohr can speak to me through the Word, through His Word. And for the last week and into next week, he has devoted a whole series of important teachings on suffering. And it's very theological, it's very spiritual, and it's very practical. At the same time, another guy, his name is Steven Pressfield, who's a writer. I mean, he is a writer. He comes out of the Jewish tradition, which he just kind of rediscovered after a long life of living, as he says, rather non-religious, to put it mildly, and now has discovered at least his traditional Jewish roots, and he's seeking to know more about what God might really be like in his life. And he is writing today about what he called the pain zone. And what he is saying is that if you ever want to create something significant, you will have to suffer by going through the pain zone. I'm just going to ask you, as you go through the day, to begin to explore that. Again, you might explore Steven Pressfield, www.stevenpressfield.com, stevenpressfield.com, and just Google Richard Rohr, RICHRD and you'll probably find a number of ways to get to some of the things he writes about, particularly with the Center for Action and Contemplation. Center for Contemplation and Action, located here in the Southwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And his series for the week is entitled Suffering. And what he says is this, that all of the suffering and pain that Jesus predicted, you will have troubles, and you will have pain, and you will have adversity, but count it all joy. But what God wants us to do is He wants us to learn from it. He wants us to learn from our suffering. He wants us to learn from our pain. And here was the key thing that I just wanted to bring before you, because all of these are experiences that I'm going through, have gone through, and continue to go through, particularly, and maybe this is why God does want you to be an entrepreneur. As I spoke with my friend John just today, he points out that since he and his wife have chosen the entrepreneurial life, there are times when it's just really scary, when suffering and oftentimes just hard work and pain are a part of the deal. A part of the deal that you still embrace it, because that's where you will be. As we say, the goal of being a Christian entrepreneur is to be fully alive. And someone said you feel it all. The joy, the power, the creativity, the uniqueness, and you feel the pain and you feel the suffering. Just today, I was talking to a lady at the bank, and she said to me, after putting some stuff together for me, Stan, I've been doing this for over 30 years now. And I really didn't choose to do this, but it's what I did, and I did it pretty well, and kept getting better at it. But it's not what I really want to do. And I said, well, what do you really want to do? And she told me. And she said, but I don't know if I could ever do that. I'm afraid it would be kind of painful. It'd be kind of hurtful. It might be scary. And I said, let me relax your fears. It will be. Absolutely. Don't worry about whether you will have those experiences. You will. But you will have much, much more. I guarantee it. So here we are, just at 10 minutes of clarity. I would like you just to deal with that idea that you will have pain, you will have suffering. That's the deal. And here's the further deal. Learn how to grow from it. Learn how to use it. Because if you don't, you will pass it on. And that's why the whole world is in trouble today, is people have used their pain and their suffering not to learn from, not to grow from, but they have passed it on to others. And in passing it on to others, it goes and it grows and it gets worse all the time. And it will be that Christian entrepreneur, that Christian who can stand in the gap, who says, I will take it all, and I will use it all. It will all be useful to me, and out of that I will no longer pass on the pain, but I will seek to pass on the joy and the gain. I'm Stan Houston, RadioEdge77 @gmail.com. Stan Houston, RadioEdge77 @gmail.com. I hope this 10 minutes has been helpful to you. I hope you'll join our network, tcenglobal.org/contribute. That'll take you to the website, and it'll also take you to the point where you can help us continue to do these programs and do the radio and do the television and do all of the good stuff that will allow you to go and grow and be fully alive as a Christian entrepreneur. That's the life that I think God has in mind for all of us, and especially for you. Especially for you. That's why you're listening to this program today. That's what I believe. That's what I think. And in some cases, that's what I know. All the best and blessings to you. Till next time, for the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience, I'm Stan Houston for the Christian Entrepreneur Network. Bye for now.